Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Make sure that you click and subscribe, like, comment, do whatever you need to do. So I wanted to chat to you guys today about something that is, I've had a lot of questions on my Instagram, on my TikTok about what to tell your children if and when you're separating from their dad or getting a divorce, etc. That was obviously one of the things that was really like hanging over me. So worried about the children. So many people have messaged me saying things like, I'm staying in my relationship because of my kids, because I'm so worried how they're going to react or how they're going to get affected. And I know it's so cliche, but I do strongly believe that 2 happy homes are better than 1 unhappy home. I think we underestimate what children sense and what energy they can feel, maybe what they can pick up in certain conversations where you don't think that they're really listening. So I actually went with James and we saw a child educational psychologist because I really wanted to make sure that we got the correct language, said the right things, and just dealt with it in a way that was going to be the best for them. Rome obviously being 1.5, we haven't told him anything because he doesn't understand. Whereas Blake and Ivy, they will be 5 in November. So at the time that we told them, they were 4.5. So I feel like it's that age where they have enough understanding where you can sit down with them and talk about things. I think even, you know, as young as, I guess it depends on what your child is like and how advanced they are with their speech, etc. So one of the main things that she said to us before she gave us any advice as to what to say to them, she sat us down and she said, if you are 99% sure that this is what you're going to do and you're going to separate and get divorced, then you need to leave and we will have this conversation when you are 100% sure. Because there is nothing worse than telling your children and then untelling them and not going ahead with what you initially said you were going to do. So that is the first piece of advice. Be certain that things are going in that direction, and if you're unsure, wait. So we were sure. And another thing was never lie. You don't need to tell them details and go into everything, but don't tell a lie. You don't need to say something like, Mummy and Daddy still love each other, but, or I'm trying to think of another example. I can't think off the top of my head. It was pretty much try and be as honest as possible, but you can be vague, depending obviously on the age of the child, what they understand. So we pretty much sat them down, we made it very chilled, like they kind of still had their toys. We sat down together, and another thing we made sure of is that we were on the same page, we knew what we were going to say before we said it, and it wasn't one of us talking and the other one just listening. We kind of took it in turns and made sure that it seemed like we were both on the same page. I said a bit, he said a bit, I said a bit. So I think we sat them down and I just said, we wanted to talk to you about something. There's going to be some changes, but they're going to be really, really exciting. So Mummy and Daddy aren't actually going to live together anymore. But what's really cool is that you're going to get 2 homes. So I think at first when I said Mummy and Daddy aren't going to live together anymore, I think their body language and generally I think Blake may have gone like, oh. But then I turned around straight away and tried to make it really exciting. And I said, but you're going to get a new home. Like, it's so cool. Daddy's going to have a new house. And then I think James kind of took over and explained what his house was going to be like and where it was. And then I think I may have turned around and said, and what is also really cool is because of that, you're going to get a new bedroom. We can get you some really, really cool new duvet covers. And I tried to get it in there that we can make it really tacky there, because here is really stylish and cool. And there, they can have Paw Patrol and they can have Barbie duvet, because I'm not having that here, so they can have it there and make his room really ugly. No, I'm joking, sort of. But just try to make it kind of exciting, and then massively emphasized, I will always be your mummy and I love you so, so much, and that will never change. And then James would say, I will always be your daddy and that will never change. We love you so much. We are still a family, because that is not a lie, but we're going to live in 2 separate homes. You're going to have 2 lots of birthday presents. You're going to get 2 lots of Christmas presents. You'll have 2 bedrooms. It's going to be so cool. Sometimes you'll be at mummy's house and sometimes you'll be at daddy's house. And honestly, that's pretty much how we kept it. We kept it super simple. They're not of that age where I think they really took it in yet. I did say to them, if you have any questions, you can ask mummy and daddy anything. We're always here to answer your questions. And if you can't think of anything now, but you may have some questions later, then you must ask mummy and daddy, and we will always be there to answer any of your questions. And then I think that they were pretty much more concerned with what toys that they could get. They spoke about some toys. They spoke about what duvet covers they could get. And then James took them out for the day. So maybe that's another suggestion I would make, is we did it first thing in the day, not like before bed when they're tired or they've had a long day or they've been overstimulated. They then had a fun day out with their dad. They then got quite confused that day when he brought them home and he wasn't staying. That's where I feel like the conversation we had telling them, which I dreaded, was much easier than things that have happened later on. So, you know, once he left, they were really upset and didn't really understand, like, when's daddy coming home? And then I had to explain, daddy's not actually coming home. Remember, mummy said that he's going to have a new house, but it's going to be so exciting when you go and see it. So that's another thing about trying not to lie afterwards. So, you know, I think there was one evening where they got into bed and they said, make sure daddy comes in and gives us a kiss when he gets home from work, because they always say that to me. And rather than me just having an easy life and being like, okay, and shutting the door, I had to then sit down and explain to them again, remember guys, mummy and daddy told you, daddy doesn't live here anymore, but you're going to be seeing him in 2 sleeps time, something like that. So I feel like, sadly, those conversations I'm finding much harder, and I'm having to do them on my own. But the initial conversation wasn't too bad. The whole thing is daunting. It's all new. It's just one of those things that you need to try and put on a brave face and do what you can for the kids. Answer their questions as best as you can without lying, but without giving too much information, and just hope that they're resilient and they get used to it and make it fun. So that's pretty much it. If you've got any questions, please do comment below. I will answer them. And yeah, that's how we told them. I feel like it's very difficult because they're 4.5, nearly 5. And when they are misbehaving or doing things that looks like they're maybe playing up, it's hard to know whether it's because of the divorce, because of school starting, because of their age. But I guess it's just trying to be maybe extra patient and realising they may act out a bit more. But yeah, that's my advice. I hope it was helpful. Make sure you subscribe, and yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks guys.